Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. You're watching another edition of The Small Business Show, exclusively right here at ASBN.com and now streaming on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV. What better time to prepare for the new year than right now? On today's show, we're discussing everything that you need to know. I don't know if it's everything you need to know, but it's a lot of the things you need to know about branding for your business in 2024. We're pleased to welcome Bill Harper, who's the CEO and Chief Creative Officer for BrandBoss HQ. Thanks so much for joining us once again, Bill. I know that our viewers and subscribers get so much out of your visit here, so thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for being on today.
Sure.
What should we uncover today about the great and wild world of branding and marketing?
That's right. That's right. And it's a very hot topic. I will tell you, there's certain shows on our network that do better than others in branding. Our segments with you are always at the top because people want to know, do I need to focus on branding? What do I need to focus on? How do you do branding? Is it just a logo? Is it not a logo? What does it mean? And what do we need to focus on?
So let's talk about that. Yeah, that's a great question. So branding is really the story that you want people to know about your business. The biggest word right now that I think people need to keep in mind is edutainment. The marketing is really a performance. And that's the thing that most businesses don't get. In fact, if you're following my TikTok at all, I just did a walkthrough of the latest Real Simple magazine to give an example of just how far advertising's entertainment value has fallen in the last few years. So really where you gain your greatest strength in marketing is in bringing something that reflects the values or the needs of the people there, not describing your business. If you're sitting there talking about how your pencil is yellower or I don't know, has a bigger eraser, you're in the wrong zone. You've got to get into why would somebody need a different pencil or how do they use it?
Sure.
And that's where the stories come from. So if you're looking at like, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC, go back to that as a great reference about how and where to tell a story that's directly relevant to your target group.
Yeah, remember those Mac and PC commercials? They were funny, and they really resonated with a lot of the people that were in the market for a computer, right?
Yeah, they do. And the thing is, they never talked about the computer. That was the piece that made it work, is that they said, you know, here's this. Well, let's go to what it is that Apple's trying to say. Apple celebrates the contribution of the individual, right? That's the whole thing. If you go all the way back to their famous 1984 Orwellian spot, it's don't become another cog in the wheel. The whole thing is, hey, each person can contribute something great. So the whole, friction or tension between Mac and PC was so beautifully illustrated in those spots. Because it's like you've got Mac, which is, hey, I know who I am and I'm just along for the journey and I'm contributing and I'm doing my thing. And then you've got this sort of stuffed shirt thing that represents big corporate thinking and, poor product design and whatever. And that tension is what captured our attention because we can relate to it. And it's a story that we know because we feel it every day. So nobody is buying the computer for the computer. They're buying it because they say they believe the same things I do and they design their products around the things that will let me express myself and be seen in the world as having contributed.
That's right. And they're memorable. I mean, and now with TikTok, which you're on in a very big way, and you do a great job with those TikTok videos, but because you've got all of these different platforms and social media, businesses literally for free can get their stories and their branding stories out there so much easier than they could if they were Apple back in 1984, when it's going to cost them, $4 million for a Super Bowl ad, right?
That's true. And one of the things, though, that they're missing in that transition is that social media has social in front of it for a reason. Businesses that try to treat social media like just another form of media, like outdoor boards or television or radio, they're really just not getting any traction. And the reason why is because social media is about the individual and making a one-to-one connection.
Right.
So when you go and you're telling your story there, it's a different story. It's why you decided to take the tack you did, how the insights matter to you, what you're doing in the company. That's behind the scenes, one-to-one information. The things that you do that project out, that's about building a different kind of vision and momentum for the brand. And it's interesting to watch how much businesses are struggling right now, trying to make the jump from one media understanding to the other.
That's right. That's right. What are some strategies that businesses can use to grow their brand awareness in 2024? You already mentioned a couple of them, but what else comes to mind?
The big one is simplify. Businesses have sort of lost sight of what telling a good story is about, and that is that our hero remains the same. James Bond is the same in every movie in terms of who the character is and what they subscribe to. It wouldn't matter if the character was female or male or older or younger. The Bond character is developed around a certain set of experiences that are the same each time.
Yeah.
Similarly, brands need to find that one thing that they represent and bring it to the table and then do it creatively and consistently. What happens is businesses try to be all things to all people, and in doing that, they really become no thing to no one. And that's where they're just buying ad space, which is not going to get them the growth that they're looking for.
Sure.
So simplicity is number one. Knowing what that thing is by doing some consumer insights to make sure that you understand what's important to your target audiences too, so that you know what the right story is. And then 3, consistency. Just, it's like going to the gym. You're not going to get big overnight, and you don't know exactly what day it is that you're suddenly going to see yourself big. So you just keep going until it happens. And that momentum is a huge part of brand success in building their growth.
That's right. Was that message specifically for me? Or about, I'm going to the gym. I'm telling you, I'm going. I'm working out. Bill, a lot of people know, and let's talk about this for a minute, because I think it's important, especially for the entrepreneurs and business owners that are listening to us right now. You really are, part of your brand's business, which is BrandBoss HQ. But they really know you. I mean, they know Bill Harper. And when I see you on TikTok, you do a phenomenal job. And when other businesses see you on TikTok, the BrandBoss HQ is not as important as the Bill Harper CEO, the person behind the company. And I think that's what you do a very successful job at, is if you hire BrandBoss HQ, you're getting Bill Harper. And that's really what businesses, I should say, companies and businesses and consumers want to see, right? Who's the person behind the swoosh or behind the logo, and what's their story? And because that's the one I'm going to be doing business with, right? I'm not going to be doing business with a logo. I'm going to be doing business with an individual. And I think that you do a very good job of getting that out there, because I watch you and I think to myself, wow, this guy is making sense. Seems like an intelligent guy. He seems approachable. This is somebody that I could work with.
It's interesting. The biggest takeaway that I've gotten from the TikTok interest that's come is that the goal of TikTok isn't to sell, it's to become familiar. That's the piece that I think so many businesses are missing. And that goes directly to your point. Now, when you extrapolate that to a huge company like Nike, it becomes a little odd, right? Like, who would be the person that would be representing the brand, and how would they be doing it? But certainly for emerging businesses and for mid-sized companies like our own, the ability to come out and be a direct one-to-one and have people get comfortable with you, that eliminates a lot of that initial trying to get comfortable part, right? And I can't tell you how many people will contact me and they'll say, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you because I've seen you so much on TV, right? And that really breaks down a lot of those barriers. And so those conversations don't start out awkwardly like they would normally have, where it's a cold meeting. Instead, it's, oh, I really liked that video, or, hey, I want to ask you a question about this thing that you mentioned. Does that really apply? And does it apply to my business? And then we're off and running in a place that's giving them a comfort and me a comfort, because we're already on common ground.
That's right.
And I think that's really where the one-to-one becomes so popular and so successful, is that it breeds familiarity, and that familiarity breeds comfort, and that allows for conversations to be more meaningful, faster in the process.
That's exactly right. I couldn't have said it better myself, and I completely agree with you. And hopefully for the business owners and entrepreneurs out there, this could be the year. If you're not already doing this in social media, you need to take it a step further this year in 2024 and do that. Get in front of the camera. The camera doesn't need to be fancy. It could be your iPhone, but do something to get your personality and your image out there to your market and to the public, to let them know what your story is and what you believe in and what your values are in your running your business. And I will tell you, over time, it will resonate with your market, and you will thank me later for this advice. I know you'll thank Bill Harper as well, because he does such a great job at it. For those of you that have not seen Bill, go to TikTok, and we're going to show some information here. So it's a real quick, easy click, but go to TikTok and check out, just type in, Bill Harper, right? Or is it under BrandBoss?
It's under BrandBoss HQ.
Under BrandBoss HQ. Bill Harper is the guy that's on the camera there and that you're seeing right here, and he looks just like this on TikTok. But these TikTok videos, subscribe to him because they're great. I mean, for the time between my show that he's on, this will give you that daily dose of his content, and it's great stuff. It really is. He's worked for such big brands out there, and you can benefit from that. He'll tell you the trade secrets. So Bill Harper, CEO and Chief Creative Officer for BrandBoss HQ. Thank you so much for joining us. This has been great. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again. See you soon.
Thanks for joining us for another edition of The Small Business Show with Jim Fitzpatrick, exclusively on ASBN.com.